Hi, Erin and Laysla.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I wanted to start with you, Erin, to ask about the filming locations for Lock and Key because there are so many gorgeous locations, especially Key House. Where is it filmed?
Well, most of the production is filmed, in and around the Toronto area. The sets, the interior sets of Lock and Key House are in Etobicoke, so that's the magic of the indoor. And then the exteriors are in Flamborough, which is just sort of north of Hamilton, which is very close to where I live. So I love working there. It's a very short commute. And then Lunenburg, which is in Nova Scotia, which I have never gotten a chance to go to. I'm remembering now I was supposed to go in the first season, but I was working on something else, so I couldn't go. And then they green screened me in.
No
So
way.
yeah, like on the cliff, there's a scene where we're scattering Rendell's ashes, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just green screen you in." Like, so they shot it on the stage, and I was like, "Okay," but then it looked great. Like I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I look like I'm there." So I almost got to go to Lunenburg, but not quite. So there you go.
It totally looked like you were there. I was
Movie
wondering
magic.
if they shot that on the Scarborough Bluffs or something, but it was
No,
actually
I actually think that
Florida.
they may have shot some stuff on the Scarborough Bluffs, like, but I think that particular scene and a lot of the stuff that's supposed to be in Lunenburg, or sorry, like sort of on the coast and the establishing stuff is all in Lunenburg. So
Liza, I wanted to ask you, when you were asked to audition for Dodge, how was she described to you?
I think it was this. I remember it said similar to Villanelle in Killing Eve, but kind of like the sci-fi version of it. Does what she wants, is very sexy and very into. They described as meat world. So basically everything humans like.
Meat World, that's a
Meat
great.
world. Said meat world, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting because they also said they didn't want it over the top, even though she was a demon. So it was, it's interesting finding like, how do I make this an actual human because she's undercover, but add that little element, that demonic element to her.
And not only that, I thought it must be pretty tricky to play her because she presents herself in so many different ways.
Hmm.
She's a master manipulator. She wears many faces. That's what I kind of love about her.
And she literally wears
She literally wears many
literally.
faces.
Yeah.
But I love when I get to play her, I love exploring what it means to be like an evil femme fatale kind of, stepping into that role is just so exciting.
I'm sure it's freeing to do. Like, I know I feel like that when you get to play like a bad guy or do things that you're like, I wouldn't do that in real life, but it's freeing.
And use your sexiness as your power. Like, that's so cool. And usually, I think a lot of the times women, when seen on screen, they usually have this maternal instinct or usually like kids. So it was really awesome to read something where that wasn't the case and she was genuinely a bad person to children and didn't care. So I just leaned into that. I didn't create a story for myself of like, this is why she's evil. I just said, no, this entity is bad and she likes being bad. Let's go for it. Let's have fun with that. And I think that's what people like to see. It's like an unapologetic behavior from a woman.
Totally.
Erin, your character goes through quite a few changes in season two, including in the very first episode where we learn that he has a romantic relationship. What was your reaction when you read that script?
Well, I'd read all the comics. I'd been a fan of them sort of separately from the show. So I knew a lot of the backstory of the characters. I knew a lot of that. So I knew that Duncan's character was gay, and I knew that he was in a serious relationship with a character named Brian. So I was really excited, and also really excited to see who they were going to cast as for Brian. And they cast a great Toronto actor Milton Barnes, who is awesome, and also somebody that I've worked with a couple times. So it's always nice when you're doing something where there is going to be like some intimacy or you know, a connection, somebody that you know or have worked with or get along with or whatever. So yeah, I was excited. I was excited to see that they were bringing in that character and that was going to be part of the story. So yeah, it was good. I really liked it.
Laysla, do you get the scripts for all the episodes at once so that you can see what's coming, or do you get them each episode at a time?
We get them each episode at a time. So we didn't know what was going to happen. We're just as surprised as you. But I will say they do, I mean, compared to other shows, I think we did get, for the first season, we got a chunk of them at once, which was really nice. And as soon as written, we got, you know, we get to read them right away versus having to wait, you know, the day before we start shooting an episode. They give us a good amount of time to work on our stuff.
I think also this year, because we were supposed to start shooting much earlier than we actually did because of COVID, I think that they were ahead of the game on that, having everything ready to go. So I feel like we did get things a little bit earlier in the second season because they'd had lots of time to sort of refine them and get them where they want to be. So they usually don't give them to us when things are still in flux because actors
get really attached. And
and then if something changes and we think it's not as good, or where did that beat go? I love that beat. And then they're having to be like, oh my God, these actors, like, it didn't work for the story, or it didn't work for the budget, or it didn't work for whatever. So yeah, they give it to us when things are pretty solidified most of the time, so that we don't cry about our missing whatever beat or moment or whatever.
Aaron, I noticed that both seasons started in winter and it looked really cold while you were filming that.
Oh, you noticed? Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the steam coming from your lips.
The desperation in our eyes.
Yeah. In what month did each of those seasons start filming?
The first season we started shooting in January or February, and then the second season we started shooting in September. And then it went all like through April, I think, was when we finished. So yeah, I mean, you know, January, February, March were cold and miserable, and it was a lot of exteriors. But, you know, I always, you know, sort of say this, at the end of the day, as long as it looks really good, which I think the second season looks great and all the winter exterior stuff looks awesome, then it's worth it. But sometimes when you're there,
they always they put heat, like little heat patches inside your clothes and in your shoes, and they're constantly putting blankets over you to make sure you're warm.
Don't tell them this. Don't tell them the secrets. We have to keep it so that it's no, we sacrifice dearly our bodies, our health. You know, we're out there in the freezing cold. We don't even get, if you notice, we don't have toques or gloves. You know, we do it all for you guys. You know, it's really a sacrifice. No, they keep us warm. They keep us.
Well, thank you so much for your sacrifices. Both seasons look amazing.
Oh yeah, it's truly my pleasure.
And I want to thank you both so much for this chat.
Thanks, Alexandra. Thank you.
Thank you.